Welcome back. Joining us now with the latest on COVID-19 and the vaccine is U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy. Good morning, doctor. Nice to have you on.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Kelly.
Welcome.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
It is an honor to have you here. Dr. Murthy, how many Americans have been vaccinated so far, or at least half vaccinated?
Well, that's a great question, Kelly. The numbers are pretty extraordinary. There are more than 133 million people in our country who have received at least one dose of the vaccine, and more than 80 million who have been fully vaccinated. And we still have a long ways to go, but that means that there are many, many people now who are protected from COVID thanks to the vaccine.
And what about looking at kids going to school? When will they be vaccinated across the country?
Well, it's a great question. There are trials that are underway right now and that are going to help us understand, how these vaccines work in kids. There's already a trial that's been completed in adolescents and older kids, and an authorization request has been submitted by Pfizer for that. So we may see a vaccine for older kids in a few months' time, and potentially by the end of the year, we may have a vaccine for younger kids as well. And that would be a big step forward in ultimately getting to herd immunity in our country.
This J&J vaccine was paused because there was some adverse side effects in a handful of people. Can you tell me about those side effects and who they specifically affected? Should the people that have already gotten it be worried or concerned?
Well, it's a really important question, Kelly, and I'm so glad you asked. So let's just talk about what happened there. There were 6 cases that were identified by the FDA and the CDC out of more than 7 million people who received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And in these 6 instances, the individuals had developed a dangerous and rare type of blood clot. Blood clots are actually not that uncommon, but this particular clot presented in the setting of low platelets as well, which are the cells that help in clotting. And that's an unusual finding. But even though it's such a small number, out of an abundance of caution, the CDC and FDA wanted to investigate. And so that investigation is underway. I anticipate within a few days that we will have results of their investigation. But here's what's important to know if you got the J&J vaccine already. The overwhelming likelihood is you will be just fine, just like the millions of others who received the vaccine. Keep in mind, we're talking about rare events. 6 out of more than 7 million is more than, it's less than 1 in a million. Your chances of getting hit by lightning are in fact greater than that. And so I think people could feel relatively safe that the vaccine, if you got it, that you're going to be just fine. And we'll find out more information if there are others who need to take precautions down the line. But keep in mind this also, there are still 2 other vaccines that we have in the United States that the majority of Americans who are vaccinated have received. That's a Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. More than 120 million people have gotten these vaccines. The safety profile still remains extraordinarily strong for these vaccines. That's why I got vaccinated. It's why I got my parents, my grandmother vaccinated, my sister, my wife. And when a vaccine's available for kids, I'll have my 2 little ones who are 4 and 3 vaccinated as well.
Very little ones, 4 and 3.
Very little ones,
All right, let's take a break. Come back. We'll talk more with Dr. Murthy right after this. We're back with U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy. So let's talk about mask wearing. I was out in New York City yesterday taking a run along the river. Some people are wearing masks outside, others are not. What are you suggesting with people indoors, outdoors, and those who have been vaccinated when they're together?
Well, it's a good question, Ryan, and this has been on a lot of people's minds. Here's what the CDC has told us. If you are vaccinated and you're getting together with other people who are also fully vaccinated, and keep in mind that means at least 2 weeks after your last shot, then you can get together without masks. If you are outside and you are taking a walk and there aren't people around you who are close to you, if people are more than 6 feet away from you and you're just taking a walk in your neighborhood or in the woods, you don't need a mask in those circumstances. Where you need a mask is when you're in closer proximity to other people, and certainly if you're indoors, especially with people who are not vaccinated. Listen, I know overall, though, as we think about masks and we think about all the other precautions we've had to take this year, it can be exhausting for people. This has been a long, long year, and we've had to follow a lot of rules. We've had to really turn our lives upside down. But that's actually why, Ryan, we're so excited about this vaccine, because it is our pathway actually out of this pandemic. It's how we can return back to our lives, see our friends and family members, get our kids, back to school the way they were used to being, get back to work, and ultimately recapture our lives, which is what I think we all want.
It's nothing short of miraculous, the speed with which the doctors and scientists worked to make so many different vaccines available to us. We're all so fortunate to be around during this time. Tell us a little bit about this new program that you're rolling out.
Well, Kelly, the new program that we're launching is a national public education campaign, and it's got many components to it, but two that I'll mention today. One is the COVID-19 Community Core, which is a consortium of thousands of organizations, from faith organizations to sporting organizations to medical and nursing organizations, that are coming together to help get their communities the right information about the vaccine, recognizing there's a lot of misinformation circulating. But there's another part of our program, which is called We Can Do This Live. We Can Do This Live. And what this is an initiative we're building where we're bringing together those trusted voices, nurses, doctors, and other public health experts together with people who are prominent voices in their community, so that they can use their reach and their platform to bring experts on board to provide information to the public. I believe knowledge is power. And when people see the data on these vaccines, when they understand that more than 100 million people have gotten this with a safe, very safe profile, that the number of breakthrough infections is incredibly low, the deaths have plummeted among the elderly who have received this vaccine, then I think you look at that benefit and you weigh it against the risk, which is the risk of getting COVID. And we already know that we've lost 560,000 of our loved ones to this illness, including, in my case, 7 of my family members. We've lost, so many other aspects of our life, our ability to see our loved ones. People have lost their jobs. When you consider the risks to your personal health of getting COVID versus the risks of getting a vaccine, in my mind, there's no comparison. But we want people to get the facts. That's why we're launching this initiative. It's We Can Do This Live, and it'll be launching within a few days.
What do you say before we let you go? Obviously, you say the vaccine is our pathway to normalcy, getting back to our lives. What do you say to your friends and family about when you think that will happen?
Well, the reason that's the right question, Ryan, is that it depends on what we do together. If we come together and not only get vaccinated, but if we turn around and look at our family and friends and ask them if they have a plan to get vaccinated, if we help them get the facts, make an appointment to get vaccinated, that is ultimately how we're going to get back to normal fast. And if we do that, I think later this calendar year, we could be in a place where we resumed the majority of activity that we were doing pre-pandemic. We've got to build that people-powered movement here in our country, where people are getting vaccinated, they're helping their friends get vaccinated. We've got to protect America together, and this vaccine is our opportunity to do that.
I got chills when you said back to life pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
That is what we want to do.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for all your hard work. Nice to see you.
Well, thank you both. Stay safe and be well.
You too.
Take care.
You too. Thank you.
For more information on COVID-19 and the vaccine, you can go to kellyandryan.com.